Wealth is a Choice podcast. Boom.
Let's listen to it. Let's listen to it.
All right, Kevin, thanks for joining me today. So Kevin, you and I met a number of years ago on the bike ride up in the UP, Tour Da Yoop, and I've been riding bikes with you for a long time, ever since that first year. And real quick on the tour, it's not a race. And some years you've ridden fast, and some years you've ridden slow. And over all of the years that I've known you, you get stronger and stronger and a better rider, and you're learning all kinds of things. And you just got done with a phenomenal ride that I'm proud and impressed of what you did. And I'd love to hear about that. And I'd also love to hear about what you've learned over the years with biking and exercising and being healthy. And
how much time you got?
Yeah, right. Enough, I hope. You know, it's a lot going on there, a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
But I'd love you to share. I mean, I think a lot of us we exercise to be healthy, and sometimes our exercise breaks us down. And I know that's not what I'm trying to do. But so tell me about this ride you just did.
So, little precursor. So I decided to get into doing ultra distance events back in, I guess I decided in December that I'd do my first 24-hour event. 24 hours, go as far as you can. Winner is the guy who gets the most miles, or gal.
Okay.
So I did one in January, followed one up in May, followed up in August, then decided I'd do 48 hours.
Okay.
So this last event, this past weekend over in Bayboro, North Carolina,
Okay.
was 48 hour, called the Psycho 48. And
probably sounds fitting.
Sounds fitting. Sounds fitting.
You know, you might as well not mislead people.
That's right. That's right. No, they
put it right out there with the name.
And they don't. From all their social media that they have, they do not mince any bones about it. And as a matter of fact, their skull and crossbones is part of it.
Okay.
So yeah, they do a 12-hour, 24-hour, 48-hour, and so we started on Friday at 8:15 a.m. and you just ride. And 48 hours is a really long time, I figured out, to be on a bike.
Yeah, it would be.
Not that I didn't know before, but...
You know, it kind of scares me. I've done, very long runs, but, I mean, if I can sit down if I want to. You know what I mean? Like in the middle of the run. It kind of scares me to be on a bike for that long and not fall over. Yeah,
see, so I'm the opposite. I've been running marathons since, I don't know, my first one was 93 or something like that. But I've not gone further running-wise than a marathon, and I can't contemplate that.
Okay.
But I can be on a bike for a really long time, and that's easier for me than the running. My quads just get destroyed on the run.
Okay.
And on a bike, I can deal with that. I can back off. I don't have to hold my body weight up.
Okay.
I can spin a little bit. I can knock my watts down, and I can survive. Those ultra runs, I think you're psycho for doing those.
Okay, I don't know.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But 40 hours is a long time.
So you crush it. I know you're a very modest person. So you took first place, and you beat the previous record by 50 miles.
Yeah, 51 miles. So
51 miles.
Yeah. So.
And how many miles did you get done?
So I got 762 miles.
It's insane.
It is insane. Previous record was about 709. And to give him props, the guy's name is Ingolf McLish. He's a well-known ultra cyclist.
Okay.
He's only been doing it for 4 or 5 years, but he wins a lot of things. And he's a solo ram finisher. Okay. Which is impressive. Really impressive in my mind. So for me to go out and...
For those that don't know, RAM, right across America.
Yeah, race across America, Oceanside, California to Atlantic City, New Jersey, 3,200 miles.
Yep.
You get 11 days to do it.
Okay.
So all of this is sort of tied together because in the back of my mind, that's maybe where I want to go. When I grow up, that might be what I want to do, and I'm sort of inching my way towards that with these races. But yeah.
I want to point out one other thing, kind of obvious, I guess what you think is ultra these days, because when you and I first met, keep in mind, it was a 1,200-mile ride over 10 days, which is the same distance as Detroit to Disney World.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that is ultra.
Yeah, well, it is. It is. It's just a different flavor of it, as I've sort of found out. There's sort of...
It's interesting just to see where your mind has gone to what tests your limits these days.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. The first year I did TDY, a good friend of mine, his wife said, Kevin can't do that. There's only been 6 people in the world that have done that. Kevin can't do that.
Yeah.
And, well, of course, game on at that
Yeah.
point. Not that it wasn't. So yeah, that was daunting. 4 years ago. Now, I've done enough things that it doesn't scare me to go out and ride like that.
Yeah.
So this is just a different challenge because you don't sleep in between if you don't want to. So,
Right.
But certainly
You don't win and sleep.
yeah, that is true. That is true. One quick thing on that race. So I'm going through the race, and my original goal was, maybe 800 miles. See if I can get to 800 miles. And I knew it would be a stretch for me. And I got to about 27 hours, and I laid down and took a 40-minute nap, my first rest. And I got up, and I'm doing math in my head, and I'm like, I'm not feeling 800. So I'm going to change my goal, and my goal now is to win this race.
Yep.
And I had passed
Wow.
Ingolf at like mile 160.
Okay.
And so I knew he wasn't a danger unless I had to get off the bike.
Okay.
But their tracking system was really messed up.
Okay.
And so I'm going through the next, 36 hours thinking that I've got like a 2-hour lead on people. So at about 27 hours, I back off. I cut my watts by 30 or so. And just keep pedaling. I thought I just need to stay on the bike. I need to be moving at 48 hours and not stopped.
Yep.
As I get down to the end of the race, again, math in my head, I'm going to finish at this pace at about 759 miles. Like, I can't do that. I have to hit 760.
Okay.
So come around to the pit. I've got 57 minutes. I turn on AC/DC, Nickelback,
Okay.
and I jam out at 19 miles an hour
Wow.
for an hour
For the end.
for the end.
Unbelievable.
Get to the finish, get to the ceremony. I'm thinking I won by a ton. Second place, Justin, come on up here. Justin got 759 miles.
Oh my gosh.
3-mile difference.
Wow.
I went back the other day and I looked at the Strava. I looked at his numbers and mine, and I passed him with about 15 minutes left.
Oh my goodness.
And I was cruising. I had a lot of energy left from backing off.
And you didn't know?
I didn't know.
Did you pass him on your bike?
Passed him on the bike.
And you didn't?
Didn't even know. And I'm not sure if he knew. I talked to him a little bit, and
Okay.
I need to reach out to him and say, all right, dude, because his last hour was at like 88 watts for like the last 70
Okay.
minutes. And, he put in 14 miles in 70
Okay.
minutes, and I did like 19 in the last
Okay.
hour. So I'm pretty sure he didn't know who I was, or that he either thought he had it
Oh,
locked
so
up.
wait a second. So how big a loop is it?
35 miles.
Okay, so you were seeing other bikers along the way. You didn't always know who's in the
Exactly.
lead.
Yeah, I had no idea who anybody was.
Understood.
So he either thought he had it locked up, or he was just dying.
Okay.
And given his numbers, I'm
Can
thinking
you
he
imagine
might
if
have
you
been
guys
dying.
knew and
Oh,
you
yeah.
tried to bang it out?
Oh, that's what I told him. I said, dude, if we had known,
Oh,
this would have been
man,
a
I
lot more. It
wonder.
would have been a lot more painful.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point, so I put it in a spreadsheet. And at one point, he had about an hour and a half lead on me.
Yeah.
About the time that I went down for my nap.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't know.
Yeah.
But competition was stiff.
Probably glad he didn't know.
Yeah, I think so. But he's quite a bit younger, and
Yeah.
but he was strong. I looked at his numbers, and
Yeah.
honestly, if he had known and he'd been able to muster anything,
Yeah.
he would have taken me. But I'm still proud of it.
How much quantifying to actually win? It's one thing to accomplish 48 hours of riding, but to win it, how much quantifying ahead of time goes into it? Like mapping out where you got to be at certain times and measuring all that. Did it happen or not?
No, not that.
You just kind of knew the pace you had to keep, or how many miles you had to be
Yeah,
at different places.
I've kind of got I've got dialed in a wattage that I think I can hold,
Okay.
or try to hold, and then you plan.
What did you try to
You
hold?
plan for it, and I was going to try to hold about 155
Okay.
watts. I don't remember where I ended up, 140-ish maybe.
Okay.
So it wasn't too far off.
Okay.
So there's two things. One is you can get it to measure watts while you're pedaling,
Okay.
and ignore the zeros.
Oh, I got it.
And Garmin will record it that way. So recorded that way, I was pretty much on where I wanted. When it uploads to Strava, Strava adds in all the zeros, so
it.
it drops it back down.
But for purposes of what you had to do while you're riding is what you had to know.
Yeah. So for planning, it's just all right.
Otherwise, you would have thought you're getting way behind and push harder than you should be.
Yeah, I'm kind of smart enough.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have.
Okay.
Like we started off, I was at the front of the starting line with Ingolf, and gun goes off, and Ingolf takes off,
Okay.
and
You're like, it's 48 hours, man.
yeah, 48 hours. And I just sat back, and like I think 12 people passed me, and I'm like, it's all good. I'm gonna see them all again.
Okay.
And turns out I did. So,
Okay.
yeah. And you look at like his numbers, and he was 22 miles an hour for the first hour or something, and it's not surprising that he's kind of going down. These races are all about just consistency. You need to find your watts. You can't burn matches. Just keep it at that pace, and that's kind of what I do. I kind of figure out what pace I think I can hold. That'll translate into how long you can stay on the bike for how many miles you can get.
Yep.
So you really have to limit your stops, limit how many, pee fast.
Yeah.
Have quick bike changes and things like that. And
Okay.
just try to stay riding. It turns out out of 48 hours, I think it had me moving time was like a little over 44. So I literally slept for an hour and 10 minutes, took another 15-minute lay down without sleeping. So hour and a half of kind of resting, but then yet another 2 hours or more just with bike changes and, picking up fluids and just kind of taking my time at the transitions. But, slow miles are better than no miles.
I think even look at a lot of people doing a marathon, you could easily burn 20 minutes at a water stop or something like
Absolutely.
that. So 4 hours over 48
Absolutely.
hours
Yeah.
is pretty amazing.
Yeah, my target was to try and be riding for 46.
Yeah.
I'm okay with 44, given that it's the first time I've ever done anything like that.
Even on an Ironman, what do you think your transition times combined? 10 minutes?
Yeah,
8 minutes,
maybe
10
10 minutes there. Yeah, these days.
And that's
yeah.
racing
Yeah.
in an Ironman. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. But it was fun.
Yeah.
I
Any notable experiences or memories during the ride?
oh yeah.
You got a hell of a crew, I know that.
Yep.
You got Tracy here.
Tracy was there. Tracy, the love of my life. She's always there. She's
Yeah.
always in my corner and keeping me going. And
Yeah.
whether it's nutrition or encouragement or love or a kick
Yeah.
in the ass, whatever it
Yeah.
is, she's been
Well,
there
that's
for
you
me
can
for
kick in
everything.
the ass too. That's good. Yeah, good.
Getting eaten by insects and sleeping in a van when it's 36 degrees.
Yeah.
Some memorable things. A lot of critters. I love riding at night.
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, it was so. This is over by the North Carolina coast.
And I do want to find out what light you had on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
exposure. Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's one of the keys is you got to have the right equipment. And
Yep.
things don't last 48 hours. Batteries don't. So
Yep.
figuring out how you get your lights to last,
Yeah.
how do you get your Garmin to last, how you get your radar to last.
Yep.
So I had a lot of charging bricks on my bike with me.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so ride at night is really cool. It's so open there, and just the stars that were out at night was just phenomenal.
Okay.
And the
Hopefully
critters.
You're not looking at them too much.
No, I was staring at the ground a lot,
Yeah.
trying to stay awake.
Yeah.
A lot of critters, possums wandering all over the road, deer, raccoons,
Yeah.
skunks.
Yeah.
I saw a skunk bigger than your dog,
Did you really?
and he almost got me.
Okay.
So I'm riding along, and I'm close to the center lane because there were bumps on the right. And it's tired. I'm
Yeah.
kind of looking down like this, not very far ahead. And I caught him out of the corner of my eye, and he was just about at the center line
Okay.
when he saw me. So he turned,
Yeah.
and just as I passed, his rear end was pointing at me, and I'm just thinking, please
I know
don't.
you know how to hop your bike, but that's a pretty tall hop.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going over him. That would have
Yeah.
that would have been a big wreck.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was interesting.
And this is in North Carolina?
Yeah, in Bayboro,
Okay.
close to New Bern. Folks probably might recognize where New Bern is, so kind of
Okay.
over on the coast.
Okay, so it's flatter.
Yeah,
It's not in the mountains here.
No, flat.
Yeah.
All these things I've done are flat,
Yeah.
which suits me.
I jogged your mountains the other day. My
Yeah.
glutes are burning today.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's different over here.
yeah, they should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, these are all
Yeah.
flats, and that's good for me because I do most of my training inside on the trainer,
Yep.
which I think is one of the good things that makes me good at this because I'm on the trainer for every ride I do. I never stop, I never coast, I never go
Okay.
downhill, so I'm continuously pedaling, which is what you need to do in these events. Just to keep
So
yourself going.
we both know Zach. He's done the tour with us a bunch of times. And the first time he was doing it, he contacted me in advance, and he was really nervous about the hills
Yeah.
because he lives in Florida.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Zach, the thing about hills is everybody coasts downhill, and you never get to coast in Florida, and he did a great job.
Yeah.
So I think it does make a difference. If you're just constantly riding, you can ride all kinds of terrain if you're not pedaling up and coasting down.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep.
Flats can get you ready.
They can. Yeah. And who needs to go outside? I proved that. I race outside.
Yeah.
Go outside a couple of days to, test out my electronics or whatever I've got going on with the bike and make sure it's working. But almost always inside.
Yeah.
And there are people that I know that just disdain that and think I'm not a bike rider. And there's one guy in particular that I know that it's just the most disgusting thing in the world that people ride their trainers
inside.
and they don't go outside and bike. And
Yeah.
people do things. They bike for different reasons. For me, some people bike to go out and enjoy the outside and the fresh air and see the scenery and everything. And while that's nice, that's not my why. My why is I need to stay fit and I want to live and I'm going to try everything I can to ward off all the evils of bad health. And
Okay.
so I don't mind if I'm inside.
What do you think? I know you bike outside. I've only biked with you outside. What do you think your percentage of inside-outside is? 20-80, 20 inside? Or?
90? Like literally?
It is mostly inside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really...
So it's more you do the events?
I do the events,
Okay.
yeah. Really, that's all. The events I've done outside, we did a ride with Derek and Lynn, the Erie Canal for 8 days. So 10, 11 days there, we were around that area riding outside.
Okay.
And literally, I trained maybe 1 or 2 days outside.
Okay.
So, yeah. I used to train a lot more outside, but, with this...
All I do is outside.
Yeah.
I like the opposite. I have a hard time on a trainer.
Yeah. Again, it's just different.
Yep.
Like if I weren't trying to dial in wattage and things like that,
Yep.
then I'd probably go outside more.
Yeah.
But,
You definitely get more scientific on the trainer.
Certainly. And where I live here in North Carolina, I mean, there's so many hills up and down. I can't do a workout and target watts.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, it's just impossible to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Got to go visit Zach and do the flats.
Yep. In Florida, there.
Yeah. What up, Chino? So, hey, Chino, if anybody hears snorting, it's this guy. He's our little pig. All right. I've known you for a long time. You've been doing a lot of riding. I've been learning a lot about health, nutrition, training. I know you've been learning more about it than I have been, but I'd like to talk about that.
Okay.
I think that's a big challenge for a lot of people. One of the things that I noticed, and this is why I mentioned in the beginning, TDY is not a race, it's a ride. I have gotten much healthier I'm 53 years old now, but I've gotten much healthier in the last decade, not racing all the time and riding more often, if you will. Even when it comes to running, when I would run, we were just talking about my dog Cleo. She loved to run in the woods, but she hated to run on a leash, and she tight-lined me all the time. I had a rope around my waist, and she was dragging me behind. She hated to be on a leash. And so my running times when I was jogging with Cleo were really slow. And in the beginning, I thought, this is hurting me. Like, I'm not going to do well. Yeah, but that was years ago. And anyways, besides just running, even on the bike, I've learned I don't need to push hard all the time in order to get fit.
Yeah.
So what have you learned over the years?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the same. All the literature these days is about kind of zone 2 training, which is basically, or 80-20, 80% in zones 1 and 2,
Okay.
20% in the upper zones. And that's kind of where I've fallen out probably for the last 8 years. I've been my training for my Ironman. So along with all the biking, I've done 11 Ironmans. And, those I've started probably for the last 8 years following the 80-20.
Okay.
And so what that means is, spend a lot of time in the lower zones. You still need to, exercise those other systems, your muscular systems, your breathing systems by getting up into those upper zones, but you don't need to kill yourself on it.
Yep.
And that's certainly something that I've learned. I think when I first started training, like if I wasn't hurting after a run, I felt like I wasn't doing anything.
Exactly.
And
if I didn't hit a new record almost, like if I didn't,
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
But it felt like,
yeah,
when I started jogging with Cleo, I'm like, this isn't even worth it. Like what am I even doing? I had to take her for a run, but.
yeah. And that's, I think that's maybe the biggest thing that I've learned. And I think the whole world has kind of come to that. If you, pull up some articles on, the tour riders, Pogača and those guys, they're doing the same thing. I mean, they're spending all their time in zone 2. I think
And they don't get injured.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I see people breaking down. And prior to event, I see people break down.
Yeah.
There's a number of people that contact me a week or two before the tour, and they're like, I just sprained this, I just hurt this, I just did that. And they can't make their event.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It is.
Yeah. I think I spent, when I first started doing kind of the 80-20, I think I spent too much time too low. And I think that's what's, with these ultra events that I've been doing since January, is I recognize that where I would go as what I thought was supposed to be an easy ride was just too easy. So it didn't have much benefit.
Okay.
And so, I just started, all right, let's ride this one 5 watts harder. See how that goes. Let's ride this one 5 watts harder. Okay, that's starting to stress me a little bit. Let's ride that for a few rides. Okay, now I'm comfortable with that. My heart rate response, instead of continuing to go up, has sort of come back down to where it was 10 watts ago.
Okay.
Now let's pick it up another 5. And that's what I've been doing this year, is just kind of trying to raise that, but also just not take it too hard. So I'll do one ride a week. Usually my hour ride is something where I'll push into zone 3 to zone 5 for a while. And then all the rest is kind of upper zone 1, kind of lower zone 2. And when I say zones, I hate FTP tests. So you're supposed to do an FTP test, and based on your FTP test, you set your zones. An FTP test is, they try to get you out there for 20 minutes, and then based on how much you can hold for 20 minutes, to estimate, 95% of that is what you could hold for an hour.
Okay.
Baloney.
Okay.
Like I just don't believe it. I know that I can hold for 20 minutes, I can probably hold 280 watts. Am I going to hold 270 watts for an hour? I don't think so. So I take that with a grain of salt, but I have a baseline of where I am, and so I've got the zones figured out, and I'm probably lower than that given the age that I'm at, and slowing down a little bit, but it's close enough that I can, and I know enough about my body to just kind of train, like I said, with those sort of 5 watt increments until I find a point where I can't recover, or I can't hold it, or I'll get in the ride and I'll get heart rate drift. My heart rate will just start going up, and at that point I know I'm pushing a boundary that's just beyond me at that point.
Okay.
So it's a lot of kind of self-taught,
Okay.
and just kind of listening to your body.
On the slower workouts, sometimes riding a bike, I'll have pretty modest workouts, and then I'll push up some hills, even in my area. They're not hills like this, but I can find some hills. Yeah. And then I feel this like powerful leg pushing, and it kind of surprises me. And then I realize I've been getting a lot of benefit out of that. Yeah. But like you say, I push hard for a while because it's good. It stresses my lungs, stresses my muscles a little bit.
Yep.
Teaches them what that feels like, I think is important.
Yeah, there's an old saying, like, if you want to run fast, you need to run fast.
Yep.
If you want to ride fast, you need to ride fast.
Right.
It's just a matter of progressing yourself to that point.
Yeah. What have you learned about food and hydration?
Everybody's individual.
Okay.
Again,
I like that you say that.
Yeah, and
we just talked with Stephen Mers with Trek Bike Fitting, and I kept thinking he's going to give me this. Well, here's what you got to do, but he kept applying it to everybody's an individual. It's true.
It really is, and again, I keep kind of pointing back to literature and things that I read. So these days, people are really pushing like 90 to 100 grams of carbs per hour.
Yep.
And again, I can't take that much intake. My stomach can't take that.
Okay.
So I've met an ultra cyclist. His name is Matthew Left Hand.
Yep.
And if you look him up, he's incredible and phenomenal. And anything he rides these days, he crushes the record.
Right.
And I had the pleasure of actually crewing for him as he did the race across the West back in June. And so I learned a lot from him. He's onto a product called Formula 369.
Yep.
I know this isn't a commercial, but I think it's great stuff. I've gone through a bunch of things. So for me, personally for me, I figured out that I can only handle so much carb intake fluid-wise.
Yep.
So for me, I'm at 30 to 45 grams of carbs per hour, all with Formula 369. I try to drink a bottle an hour, and then just kind of pay attention to my body. When I'm hungry, I eat, and if I'm not hungry, I don't eat. But then also in these long events, I recognize that if I'm not eating, I need to sort of force myself at times to get the carbs in.
A little bit of it's on the clock.
Yeah. And again, everybody's different in what they can handle, and food-wise,
how much sweet they could handle versus
exactly. And you just have to kind of. I can't say that I've got it dialed in. I mean, this 48-hour ride, 0 stomach issues.
Okay. And you could keep adding.
Yep.
Yeah.
The-
Sometimes people have a hard time adding, and you're gonna run a deficit. You're
Yeah.
gonna bond.
So my other feeling, again, I'm not a coach, I'm not a trainer, I'm not a nutritionist or anything. My feeling is that there's enough fat on this body,
Yeah.
given the speeds that I'm
Getting
going.
more and more all the time.
Yeah, funny how that happens. Given the speeds that I'm going and the power that I'm putting out, I don't personally feel like I need instant glycogen
Right.
in my muscles ready to go. I think my body is, I could be wrong, but I feel like my body is good at burning fat at the
Yep.
pace that I'm going. So I don't feel like I need as many carbs. Somebody like Matthew, who's, he's turned out 270 to 300 watts.
Yeah.
He's burning through carbs like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's probably at 90 or 120 an hour.
Yep.
But so you got to kind of tone it to yourself. And I said the stomach issues, I had 0 stomach issues at all in this 48-hour race. The prior one that I did, a 24-hour race, which I actually won as well, I had all kinds of stomach issues. I got myself dehydrated after 12 hours, and
wow.
had to back off to
Wow.
to make sure I didn't go deeper and kind of recover. So everyone is different.
And was it different food?
No, it was kind of the same exact thing. The heat was, she's looking at me funny, it was pretty much the same thing, but the heat was, no, you're right, I didn't do the burritos, but the heat was a lot harder, more in that race.
Okay.
That was back in August. And
You did burritos the first time or the second time?
the second time, yeah. So I made some rice and egg burritos, and
You know, I've had pasties in the middle of the ride in the UP, then I've had a great second half. And the first time I had one, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work. But that's not racing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes it's just whatever tastes good.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And so we had a variety of things, and we had a little microwave. She made me a couple little pizzas, and
Yeah.
oh man, those were just
Yeah.
life-saving.
So that 369, you mentioned it. I do like that, and it is very bland,
It is, yep,
and that's exactly what I need sometimes.
yep.
And if I'm doing multi-day events, it's really good to mix it up.
Yeah. I'll usually have a bag of something else, Tailwind or, something else, just in
Yep.
case the flavor, my palate changes and I can't take the 369 or whatever. I've
Yep.
got something else to go to. But this time I didn't have to.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of nutrition, but along with nutrition is electrolytes. So, I pay attention to how much electrolyte is in the Formula 369.
Yep.
And then I just, I look at my salt on my body and I look
and you
at,
do this once in a while.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of salt up there.
yeah, and that was the August race.
Yeah.
Is I had a lot of salt built up,
And that's
I
helpful
didn't know it.
if you have a cyclist that you're riding with, because they could tell you got a white back.
Yes, yeah, and so there's always a question: is all right? Does that mean that I'm getting too much salt and I'm pushing it all out, or I'm not getting enough? And
Right.
I think it's kind of come down to you're probably not getting enough.
Yeah.
Both, you're pushing it all out and not. But
Yeah.
so I always, there's some carbs in there. You have to pay attention to the heat then, and that was what I didn't do in August. Is I just didn't. There was a little bit of a breeze, but
Yeah.
the sun was out, and I was a lot hotter than I thought I was.
Yeah.
But I'll carry a bottle of basically chewable 100 milligram salt chews,
Yep.
cherry flavored or whatever.
Yep.
And every once in a while I'll just chew one of those just to keep the salt intake up.
Yep.
And then I also will mix up. I use 369 just electrolyte mix. So one little scoop of those, and just every few hours I'll just down a bottle of that just to, and that's 1,000 or 1,500 milligrams of sodium, just to get in my system to know that I've got it there. So, I'm getting better as I go along in these things about kind of figuring those out. Another trick that I use is I carry a little bottle of Tums. So you start getting some stomach
I've
issues.
seen people start to do that.
Yep, start getting some stomach issues.
Yep.
Chew a couple Tums.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Sometimes they'll just give you a little boost.
Yep.
And then, probably the only other thing I really do is Coke. Every 4 or 5 hours, Coke is just my thing. You put it in your bottle, you shake it a little bit, get rid of a lot of the carbonation.
Yeah.
Not too much. You get rid of too
Right.
much, it becomes syrup and you can't drink
Yeah.
it. But you get rid of enough so that the carbonation doesn't bother your stomach, and that's usually a nice pick me up.
I know Owen loves the Coke. I'm sometimes I'll do it, sometimes not. Depends. But when I do it, I've enjoyed it. But sometimes I don't. This year I did the tour. I only did 5 days, but I didn't have any. But I like to mix it up. I tend to avoid too sugary of stuff. And
Did
there's certain-
you do gels?
I did some Hammer, gel packs. I did Martinique.
More 10.
More 10.
Yeah.
Did a little bit of that. Did 369 for the first time, for your suggestion. Really enjoyed that. And I ate real food. It's not racing, so I ate, some real food. The egg salad sandwiches.
Oh yeah, gotta love those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found out that real food works for me. If I can deal with, I think I could probably get enough carbs with the liquids, but your stomach just gets hungry.
Yeah.
So you just have to find what works for you. Because, I trained and I was eating tortillas, and those were good when I was training. And then I had some for this race, and I had Tracy give me some, and I started chewing one bite. I'm just like, I just can't even get this bite down. It just doesn't taste right.
So bottom line, I think, is that food should not be your problem. It often is for people while they're doing an event, but it doesn't have to be. And you should experiment and do different things and realize that not every day is going to be the same.
Exactly.
So bring a variety with you because you might need it.
Yeah. And so I asked you about the gels because I'm not a gel fan. I just, they're just too hard on my stomach.
Yep.
If I do have gels...
The one I was loving with Hammer is like peanut butter banana. It was it was just a dream. But but the two sweet ones, I can't do them.
Yeah. If I do have any, I'll use more 10.
Okay.
But my last two races, I haven't even used a gel.
Yeah.
To me, I think just the solid real food is just better for me. And like I said, I don't even think it really matters what it is. It's going to be calories. It's going to be something, as long as it's not,
So I learned a big lesson the first year I did the tour. When I went to bed after the third day, I sweat all over the bed like a gallon of water seemed like it came out of me. And what I learned was that I was having too much electrolytes and not enough water.
You can do that, yeah.
Yeah, and so I religiously, one bottle's got water, one bottle has electrolytes, and I make sure that when I fill them up again, I've had a full thing of water and I've had a full thing of electrolyte.
Yeah, so on my bikes for these races, I've been taking 2 bottles of energy, of the 369, and 2 bottles of water. And usually I'll kind of mix back and forth. This time I made a conscious effort to drink a bottle of energy every hour. And I did, and I probably didn't even use 2 bottles in 48 hours of the water itself. Wow. I just wasn't going through the water.
Okay.
Because I was able to tolerate the other.
All right.
But yeah, that's, nutrition is a big thing, but that's...
All right, I got to ask you about saddle sores. Not that everybody wants to talk about a sore ass, but that's a reality for biking, and doesn't seem like it is for everybody. I don't know what the deal is, but have you found your saddle? And this isn't, I know for a fact, a saddle that works extremely well for one person isn't going to work for another one.
Yeah,
it seems like we've got to find our right size, but...
Yeah. So, no, I haven't figured it out completely. As you know, I've been riding Infinity saddles on my road bike for a long time, and I'm pretty good on my road bike with that. I've had a hard time in these races. I'll ride my TT bike as long as I can. Okay. As long as I can stand, being down in that aero until I need to relax a little bit, which has been 12 to 16 hour mark. Okay. And I've had a hard time finding a saddle for that. So I went through, I had the ISM. Yep. And it just killed my sit bones. No saddle sores, but killed the sit bones. Then I went to a bi-saddle, and I thought that was pretty good for a while until I started stretching to 8 and 10 hours, and then that was killing me. So actually, just before this race, I got another Infinity, and I put another Infinity actually on my TT bike, and it's much better. But I still need to get to, Dr. Vince is the Infinity guy, and I met him actually out in California. And, and I need to get back in touch with him and just say, hey, I need some help. Because I do have saddle sore from this race. Yeah. It's actually worse after I was done. I mean, it's been worse this week than it was actually during the race, because I could feel it, it was there. And so I spent a long time kind of leaned to the left a little bit to keep away from it as much as I could.
Which is tough, and it's shifting your body.
Yeah. I went for a massage today, and this left leg was, she had me in tears, and she said, I'm not touching you yet. Yeah. So, it makes a difference. But yeah, saddles are, I think Infinity, I think this Infinity will be able to get it sorted, but I just can't, I haven't adjusted it quite right, but I think that's the one that's going to work for me.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a reality, and
You got to try different ones.
it is. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate that they're so damn expensive, and so much of biking is expensive these days. And
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you can find companies that'll give you a 30-day trial or whatever, and you
Yep.
can, and those are nice ones. But hey, if you know anybody that's looking for saddles, I got a whole
You
garage.
got a handful?
I got a whole garage
Yeah.
full. But yeah.
There's a book I read, I think it's called Fix Your Feet. And the guy it's the Bible for ultra runners in terms of taking care of your feet. And I had some blisters. I was doing a long run, and I had some blisters that developed. And I read that book, and I applied his method with the blisters. I was able to run multiple, like 20-mile days and not have a single problem on them. And then I did my run, and I didn't have any issues. And so I'm convinced. I got to try to I want to get a hold of that guy and see if he can transfer that to a saddle store. I'm convinced there's going to be a breakthrough.
Yeah.
There's going to be a breakthrough.
Yeah, you know.
And it's not just in the seat, but it's in maybe how we take care of what we can put on our body that can remove that. But
So the other piece of this, along with the saddle, is your bibs and your pad and your bibs.
Did you wear the same, or did you change?
I changed, but I had two of the same pair this time. So as I started doing
So you
these,
didn't change the chamois. I couldn't think of the name.
Yeah.
So that touch point all stayed the same.
I'll say the same. I had two pair exactly the same this time.
Okay.
But you know, as part of this exercise of doing these races is figuring out, all right, what do I need to get better? Well, I need a light that I don't have to change.
Okay.
Blah blah blah. I need bibs that are the right bibs. And so I went through. I ordered 4 different pair of bibs, and you know, you can put them on, and I can just tell whether they're going to work for me or not.
Okay.
And I found a pair. I found some ASOS GTs, and those are nice because the chamois actually comes in 2 pieces, so there's literally nothing in the middle.
Okay.
Well, and for me that's important. You know, that's
interesting.
That just like
Yeah.
I don't want any padding there at all.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of padding on the outside to kind of build it up to match my anatomy, so that middle part isn't being squished. But if they've got a thick pad in the middle there, that just I can't ride them. So these ASOS come in kind of split, and they're nice, and they're very wide as well in the front. So
I don't think I've ever seen those.
yeah, I can send you
We
the.
probably got a butt crack for a reason. Maybe our chamois should have a crack in it too.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I haven't seen those yet.
Yeah.
Check it out.
So with the Infinity saddles, actually what they recommend is that you don't wear essentially any chamois at all.
Okay.
And so I've gone, you know, I wore my triathlon suits in the last 24-hour race, which have, you know, very minimal pad in them because you got to run afterwards. And I ended up with saddle sores with those as well, but I didn't have the Infinity saddle on at the time. So, you know, I may be able to do, you know, something like that with the Infinity saddle now on the, you know, and it's hard to find, you know, in the TT bike, you know, you're down. And so, you know, you're really squishing a lot of parts down in the front of that nose of that saddle.
Yep.
And the Infinity is kind of, if you've seen it, is kind of cupped like this.
Yeah.
And so it's odd to think that the way it cups that you'd be able to make that work. But, you know, you kind of tilt it down, and it works better for me. But I thought I had it dialed, but 48 hours is a long time.
All right,
Actually, I just sent, I'm drawing a blank, Mark Zettel has been asking me about Infinity. So I finally turned him on, got him a discount code for the Infinity.
Okay.
So he ordered his. He's been on it about a month now. He says he likes it a lot. So yeah.
So for everybody that says, you know, biking is just uncomfortable, they can't do it, I mean, there is a bit of reality to that. Most bike rides, I'm unbelievably comfortable. It's just when you're pushing the limit sometimes where that starts to develop. Yeah. But it's a work in progress for most people probably, that we'll all find hopefully what works. We don't all have the same size hip. We could have the same waist, we could have the same inseam, but you know, we're all different.
Yep, what works for one.
And we move different.
Yeah, oh, exactly.
You know, we've got different injuries.
Yeah.
We got different, you know, not as flexible, more flexible.
Yeah, and you know, finding yourself, if you can, it's hard to find a good fitter.
Yeah.
In my mind, I mean, I'm kind of looking for one now. I'd love to find
one
in
in
this
area.
area.
Come on up to Michigan.
Yeah.
When you do, bring your bike.
Bring him up. Yeah.
I love this guy. We just talked to him last week, but I've known him ever since after the first tour. my hand got so numb, and I went to go get fitted with him, and he's really good at what he does. But yeah, it's small little increments.
It is, yeah. And when I first started riding, I was fitted when I got my initial bikes. That's been, hell, I was 42. It was 17 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And
the measurements should be different.
Yeah. And so my geometry has changed a lot, but I've done it all on my own, just kind of reading and kind of what feels good. But I feel like they could probably squeeze another 10 or 15 watts out of me.
You probably could have won by
fitting.
55 miles.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
At least, yeah.
So interesting. So I was doing math on, let's say you can find, 7% efficiency here, 10% efficiency there, and you can, by fitting. It's little things. And over the course of the tour, the way that math worked out was somebody could shave 4.5 hours off of riding, increase their speed by 1.5 miles, and 20,000 less pedal strokes. Finding these little efficiencies.
Yeah. I'm not shaving my legs yet.
No, yeah.
At my speed, that's not helping me.
Yeah.
Despite how much they say that helps.
Yeah.
It might help the tour guys. It's just not helping me.
All right. Let's talk about mindset, because I've seen that matters a lot. Now, mindset, I don't think can get you to do anything. There's a certain amount of physical preparedness, but you and I have seen enough. We've read enough things where we know how powerful mindset is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What was your mindset during this 48 hours?
So I like to think about it in terms of execution and adaptation during the execution. My sort of goals and mindset going in, where I'm going to shoot for 800 miles, and I'm going to listen to my body, and I'm going to, if it ever becomes a point where that doesn't seem feasible, I'm going to change. And so I just go in with it, that's where I want to get to, and I'm pretty good at just sticking with that mindset that's my goal. But I'm also realistic, and like I said, and I'm a math guy, and for 48 hours I'm doing numbers in my head.
Yep.
And at some point I just recognize that that's not going to happen.
Yep.
Just what I'd have to do to get there isn't there. So then I change my mindset.
Yep.
And I come up with a different goal that I think is reasonable. And like I said, I'm pretty good at just dialing into whatever that mindset is. I try to be decisive on it, and whatever it is at that point in time, that's what I'm going to stick with. And to this point, I've been fairly successful with that.
How about mental motivation?
I don't have to play a lot of games with that.
Okay.
I've always been pretty self-driven and self-motivated, and just I don't really struggle with falling off the wagon.
Okay.
At least not when I'm cycling. Now, Ironman is a different thing. Like Ironman, it's really easy to stop running.
Okay.
You're hurting, and every step hurts, and you can't run downhill, and it's really easy to let yourself just say, I'm just going to stop, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to walk for a little bit.
Yep.
But as soon as you do that, the next time becomes easier and easier and easier.
Yep.
So with Ironman, when I go, I try to push as far as I can, running without walking, other than through the aid stations. Right?
Okay.
And so I sort of judged my race by how far I went. I put one of them together where I ran all 26 miles without walking in between aid stations. The best beyond that was like 16 miles.
Okay.
So my mindset gets blown a lot more there in running. But with cycling, for some reason, I can just keep turning the pedals.
Okay. Do you need to dig into some mental motivator? I'm doing this for this reason, that reason.
I don't think I have to. Sometimes things like that drift into my mind. I think of people with cancer. I think of families that have lost a ton of things, and I try to use that as motivation. I don't know that it really works for me.
Okay.
But I do try those sort of things, and and then just tell yourself, look, how blessed am I out here? Like I'm 59. I'm out here 47 hours into a 48-hour bike ride, and I'm picking up my pace.
Yeah.
My dad died at 40 of a heart, had
Wow.
heart issues at 40.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty damn lucky.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. I guess when I think about it, that probably motivates me more than the other things. But, yeah.
How old are you now?
I'll be 59 another month or so.
Damn good, man.
I hope so. If I just had hair and less bags under my eyes, I'd be all right.
Yeah.
I'm not a very good-looking man, but I can sure ride my bike.
Yeah, you're good. My motivation for exercising is to be healthy for my whole life. I don't think about breaking any records. I don't know if you thought about breaking records, and then here you go, you blow out one like a 48-hour race. It's crazy. Do you have records in mind?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's humbling. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's really cool, and I'm proud of myself.
Oh, yeah, it is.
But, then I look at, I know that, like, if Matthew showed up, Matthew and I were actually, so it's funny.
Just never do a race together.
Yeah, well, funny. You asked earlier about things that are, like, memorable from the race.
Yeah.
First night, middle of the night, the West Coast is, 3 hours behind us, right?
Yeah.
So Matthew lives in Utah, and we've got other people in the crew are in Arizona. So we're all in a WhatsApp chat.
Okay.
So middle of the night, I'm down in Aero reading my phone, reading their WhatsApp comments.
Okay.
And then I'd hit the button for the microphone, and I'd answer them back with a microphone.
Okay.
So we spent a couple hours chatting.
That's powerful.
Chatting. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it did not contribute to me almost running over the skunk. That was a different night. But yeah.
I guess I haven't met him yet. He sounds like a really neat guy. Knowing what people are capable of, I think, can encourage us to try.
Yeah. And
that's a big saying we have at the tour. We're capable more than we realize. But it takes somebody to do something sometimes, and you're like, damn, I can do that too. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that saying's been important to me after meeting you. And, where I was going with Matthew was like, do I think about breaking records? No, I don't, because I'm damn near 60, and Matthew's in his 30s, and he was saying, actually, in as we were chatting, the reason I was bringing this up, he said, I think I'd like to do a 48-hour one time, because I'd like to see how many miles over 1,000 I could get.
Yeah.
And here I am,
Hey,
like,
thanks,
I'm
man.
maybe getting 800,
Yeah.
but so it's just, I'm realistic. Like, I'm not winning a world championship, but it does interest me a bit, from an age group perspective.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good to be in my age group and be able to win things. And then, these are, some of these are, overalls, but, again, you have to look at who's actually coming to the race. And, I'm just cognizant of the fact that I'm not the top guy by any stretch, but I'm pretty good for what I do. And really for being at this, I decided last December to do the first 24 hours. So in 10 months to come here, basically 4 races and 2 wins, I'm pretty proud of that.
Oh, hell yeah, I would be too. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Proud to know you. Proud of you.
Yeah. Good friends.
Love riding with you.
That's good.
I love one of our favorite spring rides.
That's
That
right.
one always kicks my butt because I'm not, we got snow in Michigan still when I come down to do that ride.
That's right. Well, they've got the Parkway, lots of it back open. So
Yeah, good.
I know we've got issues maybe this year with, I think.
Well, he
we're
leaves
going
in
to
March,
Japan?
so we're going to do it earlier in the year. Shane's looking for some places already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Be good.
I've got one more question for you, but I don't know if you have anything else that I didn't ask you about that you'd like to share.
No, just one piece. You said, you're capable of more than what you think you are. I've definitely seen that. And, that saying from you, and then watching Matthew and just watching the way he grinds things out and the way he trains, completely changed how I started training after Sebring. And I am a firm believer that, I never, I talked about how I was riding too low and I started bumping it up. Yeah, I was capable of a lot more than I thought I was.
Wow.
No doubt. No doubt. So.
Test that limit every once in a while.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
So the name of this podcast is
Health is a choice. Boom.
And the last question I like to ask people, and we talked about it earlier, wealth doesn't always mean money. It's abundance in life in a lot of forms that you can find wealth in. But my question is, do you think wealth is a choice?
Oh, good question. I think a little bit of both. From a money perspective, to get to the beginnings of wealth is a choice to try, but it's also can be a bit of luck.
Okay.
And where you're at. My situation, we were living in New Jersey. I was working for Bell Communication Research, realizing that if we wanted a family and we wanted to buy a house, that she'd still have to go to work if we lived in New Jersey. And out of nowhere, I got a call from a headhunter wanting me to go to Wall Street and work on Wall Street. And I didn't want to go to Wall Street from being in a farm community. And he said he had the same job in North Carolina. And we came down, and they paid me stupid money for many years.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that wasn't a choice. It was a choice for us to accept that.
Yeah.
But the fact that it came up was luck of the draw in
Changed
some
the
sense. Yeah. Now once kind of that you could see where it was going, then I think it was a choice, right? I mean, I could have bought.
Spent it all.
I could have bought BMWs for the family and spent it all and had nothing left. And instead, we did a lot of different things with it, and I stopped working at 54.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit of
That doesn't happen on its own.
no. That was a very conscious choice, and the choices that we made, and I think it's a little bit of both that way. I guess I've never really thought about wealth from the other perspective. Is it a choice? From family and.
What about health?
Health.
I mean, I know there's things that come out of left field, but I've known you through exercising. That's the relationship we have.
Yeah,
We ride our bikes together, and
I do think that is a choice.
yeah,
If
something can come out of left field.
Sure. Barring circumstances, some people are gonna. It turns out I have arthritis. I take infusions every 2 months for my arthritis.
Yeah.
It's not debilitating to me, but I can fight through it. Other people can't.
Yeah.
I sit in these infusion rooms, and there's people that say they can't get out of bed without the medicine, so they don't have a choice.
Okay.
Their health isn't a choice. For me, it is a choice. I mean, I could choose to say, "Oh, woe is me. I have this. I don't want it to get worse," even though I'm getting the medicine, and I could sit back and do nothing, and I could deteriorate.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to let that happen. So I think there are certainly aspects of it that are choice made there. Yeah.
Bodies like to move.
They do.
I mean, they want to
They do.
move. I know sometimes they can't, but they
Tracy's,
want to move.
Tracy's got a trainer, and her motivation is motion is lotion.
Yep. Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely.
Tracy's in the Hall of Plaid.
She is. So proud of her for that.
Yeah.
So proud of her.
That was
She,
crazy awesome.
Yep. She said, I want to do TDY. She had, for those of you who don't know, Tracy, my wife, she sagged for me, drove the van for 3 times around the UP with me. And the next year she said, I want to do it. And I said, all right. She got a trainer in the basement, and I said, how many days you want to train? And I set up a training program for her, and she followed it very religiously, and she did all 10 days.
Came up and knocked it out.
And she never complained. Like, I don't know if she suffered at all, because she never said anything at all.
She didn't let on.
She never let anything on.
Yeah.
But she did great.
Our wives are a lot stronger than we are.
Yeah. So those are good choices that we made.
Awesome.
Those are the wealth choices that we made that were good for us.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, it's good chat.
Yeah, I love
Appreciate
talking to you, man.
Thanks for your friendship.
Yeah, looking forward to our next ride.
Oh yeah.